Hi guys, Jason again here with some additional RZR content. Today what we're going to do is adjust a QSC clutch kit. Excuse me, this clutch kit's available from Ryan Scheller at RVS Performance. So what you want to do is come in and take out the 10mm grease fitting. You may have to use just a small pair of channel locks just to get it started, then you can pull it out by hand. It's up to you. Then come around and there's going to be 8 clutch cover bolts on the plastic tab to get the clutch cover off, and those are 8mm each. When you torque them back, you're going to torque to 54 inch-pounds. Again, that's inch-pounds and not foot-pounds. And you don't want to get those too tight because, again, these are kind of like self-tapping screws and this is plastic. And then you're going to come in here to your primary and you're going to want to remove these. And when you remove them, you don't want to just shoot one out, shoot one out, shoot one out. You actually kind of want to keep things even so you don't get too much rocking back and forth. So what I would recommend doing is take this one about a third to a halfway out and then jump, skip over one, third to halfway out, and jump again, third to halfway out. And then get those and come back to these, do the same thing, and then just keep kind of sequentially pulling them all out. Then over to the actual clutch kit. Like I said, this is already installed, so the weights that you're seeing here are the factory weights that they don't really have any adjustability to them. And actually in the kit you're going to see all these little weights, and that's what allows you to adjust this kit. So the weights that are actually installed right now have 3 threaded holes in each one of them, and that's what allows you to adjust the weight to accommodate for bigger wheels and tires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the primary out, get the weights out, and I'll kind of guide you through how to do that, and then we'll actually adjust the weights. So you may notice that I've got a little breaker bar in here. When you actually put this in, it's going to stop everything from spinning. Do not go through the roller gap right here. You actually want to go through the big gap. So make sure you line it up like that. Before I remove this, I also want to show you the X on here. It's very important that you know where that was lined up at. So mine's at the bottom right now. Take this off. You're going to see the X on the inside of that. So very important, when you put this back together, you want that X and that X to line up. Okay, so the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to remove the nut and bolt that actually holds the weights in. And this is going to be a 10mm, and this is an Allen head, it's a cap screw, and it's a 3mm Allen. Okay, so when you actually get the weight and bolt out, it's handy to have a magnet if they're upside down like that, so you don't have to worry about fishing them out. But what you're going to see here is the 3 threaded holes I was mentioning, and they're all Allen heads. And what I have mine tuned for right now, weight-wise, is stock setup. So the question might be, what is stock setup? So what you're going to hear me refer to is base, mid, and tip. It's going to be base because it's closest to the base of the weight, mid, the middle one, and tip for the tip of the weight. So what I'm actually set up at is 1/4 SS, 3/8 SS, and 1/4 SH. And then the weights that come with the kit will actually be identified by that. So this is 1/4 SS, 3/8 SS, and 1/4 SH. So those are the different weights that I currently have in. What I'm going to be moving to is 3/8 SS base 1/4 SS mid and an empty tip. And the great thing about this clutch kit is you get really great support from Ryan at RBS Performance. I actually didn't even buy the kit directly from him. I bought it from a customer who had bought it from him. The guy had used it for a couple weeks and ended up going with a whole new primary. So he's great about, like, if you get a new real tire setup, like what I did with the 28-inch 10-14 carnivores. Just shoot him a message. He'll get back with you with your weight recommendations for the kit. So what I'm going to go through and do to all 3 weights is get those set up based on his recommendations and test it out. And what I can tell you about the weight setup that he recommends for stock, it's awesome. The clutch engages a lot sooner, so you're not going to get so high in the RPM range, and it doesn't feel like your clutch is just going to shred your belt every time you take off. It smoothens it out a whole lot. Okay, all 3 weights are done. You can see I've spun the primary back around to where the X is on the bottom. And again, make sure you line the X up on the cover of the primary back with it. And honestly, guys, you really wouldn't even have to take this off to get to the weights. I just did it really for visibility. It's a little easier to move everything back in and out for when you want to slide the rollers and adjust everything. And what I mean by move everything in and out, this action right here. So what I'm going to do is take 3 of the bolts that were on this, put those back in loosely, take the other 3, loosely put those in, and then sequentially tighten everything back up. So what I'm in the process of doing now is tightening these down in that process I told you about, where you want to skip one to make sure everything gets even. So I started here, went here, then went here, and what I'm going to do now is jump to here and do these 3. So now that all of the driven clutch cover plate screws are in, just finger tight, what I'm going to do is get the torque wrench and we're going to torque these down to 8 foot-pounds. You don't want to crank down on them too hard and run the risk of damaging your clutch. So again, it's 8 foot-pounds to torque each one of these down. Okay, so I've torqued everything down to recommendation, and all I got to do now is put the clutch cover back on, put my grease fitting back in. But before we do that, we can take the secondary and spin it a few times. Just to make sure the belt gets reseated where it needs to be. Then we can fire it up.